Welcome back. I took a quick break to help someone fix an issue with their light grenade. But now we're going to take a look at setting up benchmarking. Okay, so we're going to use NuGet. We go here to the Tools menu, NuGet Package Manager, and we're going to browse, and we're looking for benchmark.net. And 0.11.5 is what we want. We want to add it to our Fake MMO Server. And we're going to install. Oh great, it's upset about something. Reference Microsoft Code Analysis.common. So I had to do this before. So we're going to add Microsoft Code Analysis.common, and we are going to link the version it asked for, not 3, but 2.10.0. Make sure we change that. Make sure we check the right thing here. We're going to install that. Hit OK. We're going to accept the licenses. NuGet's our package manager. Make sure all the dependencies are good. And now we're going to try adding benchmark.net again and hoping for a better result. There's these warnings here. They're mad about something, but it didn't seem to be a problem. So let's see what we've got. Okay. One other one that I did have to add. Go back to our package manager. And I had to add Microsoft MVC.testing. Ends up complaining about that one later. And I think that's going to make it happy enough. Okay, so what this lets us do is it lets us create a benchmarking project so that we can make calls to this API and benchmark the speed and see how fast is this thing. So we're going to create a new, we're going to go up to solution here, and we're going to create a new project. Let's see here, add new project, and we're going to do a .NET Core Console app, and we're going to call this benchmark. Okay, and so some of these things we added here to this project actually is the ones that wanted in this project. So let's go add those. We may be able to come remove some of these. We're going to do benchmark.net and add it to benchmark. And we're going to add Microsoft.Code Analysis Common. We're going to use the 210. So you can see it's adding them here. We're going to do the Microsoft Core MVC testing to benchmark. We're going to install that there. Testing ASP.NET Core. I'm going to add ASP.NET Core to 2. I'm going to add that to benchmark. And hopefully that'll make it happy. And we're going to come down. We're going to come down to some of these other ones here. And we don't need this. So We don't need the benchmark.net here. We're going to remove. Yep. And we don't need the MVC testing. We're going to remove. And we don't need the code analysis common. We're going to remove. Okay. This should be pretty good. So now we're going to come up here in our benchmark thing, and we are going to create a new class. And we're going to call it response benchmarks. Okay. We're going to add some tags, some attributes here that this system uses, and we're also going to need, so we're going to need this benchmark.net attributes to get access to those. We need the ASP.NET Core hosting, the MVC testing, and we also are going to need links to our Fake MMO Server test and Fake MMO Server test data. Now you see it's not happy here. So we got to come up in dependencies. We got to add a reference. And we need, we're in the wrong one. Got to be careful which one we're in. We want to come up to dependencies under benchmark. And we want to add a reference to our Fake MMO Server. And once we do that, those will be happy. Oh, my bad. It doesn't have test on this one. That's my other project. I called it test. There we go. Fake MMO Server and Fake MMO Server data. Should be happy there. We're also going to use JSON, so we'll add Newtonsoft JSON. And we should be pretty good here. Okay, so we're going to pull over some code. We got some objects here to play with. We're going to set some of these up in advance. String content, it's going to need something, system.net HTTP, let's add it. That fixed the HTTP client as well. And we're going to grab a big section of code here. So this is going to do our global setup. So because we keep using, because we want to test this over and over and over really fast, we don't want to test how long it's going to take to set everything up. We just want to test the call. So we don't want the continual setup to be included in the test, therefore we're doing it in global setup. This one's unhappy, it needs the logging, so we're going to do the same. Really? It's not going to... It's being dumb. Anyway, it's mad because we don't have Microsoft extensions logging. And that'll make it happy. So Microsoft extensions logging. Okay, so basically what we're doing here, we're setting up a web application factory. We're going to create a client that's going to make our calls from benchmark. It's going to make calls to Fake MMO Server to test it. We want to build this player state. We're going to send Dart. We're going to send 1 for our X value. All the other values are just going to be empty. And we're saying here, hey, we're going to build this string content to send. And it's just going to be a serialized, this is a JSON converter, that's why we need Newtonsoft. It's going to convert player state object to JSON. That's the data there. UTF-8 encoding, application JSON. And now we're going to add the actual benchmark. So this is called get update player state time. Tasks unhappy, we will fix it. Threading tasks. Okay, I copied this from my other project. We need to get our port number and put it here. This is going to do the test for it. So we're going to come back to Fiddler and find our composer, and we're going to grab that port. It's really just the whole, we could grab the whole thing. That's what we want to call to, and we're going to send it this player string content, which is this content here, right? So now we've got our test. So now we should be able to run this test, but of course we can't run it if there's nothing to run it against. So we're come back over to our Fake MMO server, and we are going to hit run. Here it is. I'm pushing it to the other screen. Now we're going to come to our benchmark. let's see here. Hold on. Maybe it started it for me. So I'm going to go into benchmark here. I'm going to go into our package manager console. It's initially using PowerShell. And I've got a command here. So it's .NET run. It's going to run it as release. And it's going to run the project benchmark CS project. So this only worked here because we have it called benchmark. Now let's see what errors it throws. Those are warnings. Oh, we missed an important step. So over in our benchmarking program, it's just printing hello world. Let's make it actually do something. So we're going to make it run our response benchmarks. And this here probably needs, yeah, benchmark.net running. And now when we do that again, I think we're going to get a different result. I'm going to grab my .NET run release benchmark CS project. Okay. Incorrect access modifiers. Yes. So we'll come back over here. And what we did wrong, I believe, is that response benchmarks is not public. So it needs this class to be public to be able to run the benchmarks. I just went to PM and hit the up arrow. It's a quick way to run your last command again. Ah, it's mad. Let's see. It's mad about Razor. Okay, could not find load file or assembly Microsoft data poor Razor runtime. Well, we shouldn't have had anything Razor in there anyway. Let's see what this one's mad about. That was the one it was complaining about before. Yeah, I got a few things that are different. SPNet Core, okay. Let me add one more to NuGet. We're going to be in our benchmark project. We're going to go Tools, NuGet Package Manager, Microsoft.ASP.NET Core MVC. This one here, we're adding it to benchmark version 2.2. That's going to add a ton of stuff, and I think that's going to make it happy. Okay, come back to our package manager console, scroll to the bottom, up arrow again. Didn't make it happy. Can't find the file. Wonder why it thinks it needs Razor. We're not using Razor. Let's double check the code. Probably left something in there that wasn't supposed to be there. Using benchmarks. Interesting. Yeah. So this one is in another. This one's supposed to be in the benchmarks namespace. I don't know if that's going to make a difference, but we'll give it a try. So I came back to my response benchmarks, put it in the benchmarks namespace. I ran a separate namespace for that. I don't know if it needs that or not. It's a good question. We'll give it a try. It's definitely a difference between the two projects. Hitting the up arrow again, we'll run it. Because it shouldn't, it should not be complaining about Razor. It's not a Razor project. Okay, let's take a look here. It's interesting. I still don't have ASP.NET Core MVC here. I do in my other project. Let's try it again. Package Manager, Microsoft ASP.NET Core. Huh. I thought we installed it. Oh. No, we did install it. Oh, no. ASP.NET Core.mvc. Maybe that was the problem. Huh. It says that one's there too. But yet we don't see it under here. That's probably the part that would complain. Trying to think what I had to do here to get this. I had a little bit of fun getting this set up the first time. Some of these versions don't like each other. I did get around. One of the issues was that it was running as HTTPS, and I did get around that. Workspace 2.8 requires equals to many version. Yeah, it's just a newer one. I don't think those warnings are the issue. But I do think that this not showing up MVC ASP.NET Core.mvc, that needs to show up in our NuGet. NuGet restore. .NET restore. Protected package outside. Not sure what why it's so upset about that. But our program matches exactly. And our response benchmarks, just double check here. There's a few things that are slightly different. I don't think enough to matter. It's probably the order that I've added these things worked in the other one. And not in this one. That's the same, that's the same. Threading task, HTTP, JSON, good. The only one, this one here has collections generic. We don't need that. We don't need system. We don't need system. Otherwise, we're pretty much running the same thing. Try to run this, see what we get. We should get, okay, that's normal. Just wasn't able to run the other. Let's try it again. Just hitting the up arrow till I get it. There we go. It didn't like those extra things. Just running these tests here. You can see it running through them there, running the workload. It's going to give us a report at the end, which is kind of cool. Okay, cool. So here's the report right here. So when I first looked at this, I thought, 93 milliseconds, that's horrible. This isn't going to work. But that's actually US, which I had to look up, is microseconds. So 93 microseconds was the mean with an error of 1.698 microseconds and a standard deviation of 1.588 microseconds. This is less than 1 millisecond. So it's pretty quick. That's not too bad. And that's not just running the code. That's actually making the call. So it's making the API call, sending the JSON. We're not getting anything back from it yet. We'll be doing that soon. But that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Less than 1 millisecond. Obviously, it's not gonna be that fast over the internet as in terms of lag time, but as far as the amount of time that it's taking up on our server, that's not too bad. 93 microseconds. It's not gonna keep up with a C++ socket server, but it's pretty quick. Okay, cool. That took a little longer than I expected. Again, if you get stuck with the order that I had, some of these things here did not need to be included, and by using them, it was making the dependencies get mixed up. You'll notice, this, that now ASP.NET Core MVC shows up over here. So as we removed those usings, here it is now sitting up over there. It's kind of weird. It's kind of odd. The reason I didn't run into that problem when I was doing it is that I copied this using list from somewhere else. And so I didn't have the default. Well, I had the default ones in there and I overwrote them. But if you're running into that problem as well with it complaining about Razor when you go to run it, make sure you exactly match these and don't have any extra ones in there. And then that should make sure that this ASP.NET Core MVC shows up over here. Okay, so that was showing you how to benchmark it. This is great moving forward because as we're building our server and we add more pieces to it, we can sit here and benchmark it and make sure it's fast. We can also make changes to see if things make it faster or slower. So it's an important thing. We wouldn't have had to done this. I thought it was kind of cool, and I wanted to show it to you. Okay, in the next episode, we will be diving into UE4 C++, and we will be connecting UE4 to the API. So we'll be loading up UE4, and we'll have it be sending our player location to the server in the next episode. I'll be back soon.